What's up, guys? Today we have a fun recipe for you. We're gonna be making keto gyros. The first thing we're gonna wanna do is get our flank steak, which we have here just under a pound, 1 to 4 hours. Obviously, the longer, the more of the flavor penetrates the steak. So let's get this marinated, pop it in the fridge, and then we can come back and talk about what else is gonna be going on here. So we have a gallon-sized Ziploc bag. We're just gonna add everything to. So we're gonna juice an entire lemon. Make sure you don't get any of those seeds. Yes, you can. So that looks like about a nice tablespoon, maybe a little more. I'm going pretty heavy on the lemon, but I like a lot of flavor. And then I have 2 cloves of garlic that I freshly minced up here. I'm gonna add to the bag as well. You can use the pre-made minced garlic, but the fresh just really adds a lot more flavor. And then we're just gonna pop in our steak. And then we're gonna go heavy on the salt and the pepper. So we're gonna do about a teaspoon of salt at least. Let's get some fresh ground black pepper in there, half a teaspoon. And then the last ingredient we're gonna add to the bag is 1/4 cup of avocado oil. Get all the air out of there. Really just shake this around, make sure all the meat gets coated in that marinade. Perfect, now let's pop this in the fridge and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to make some keto naan. Okay guys, so the steak is in the fridge, let's make this naan. So it's a very, very simple recipe. 4 ingredients, and it'll be linked below as well. It's already on our blog post. You guys may have made it already. It's super delicious, but I'm gonna quickly show you how to do it. So if you don't know what naan is, it's very similar to a pita bread, but it's slightly thicker, slightly breadier, so I think it's gonna be the perfect wrap for this keto gyro recipe. So to start, we're gonna get half a cup of coconut flour in this bowl. Now we are going to add 1.5 tablespoons of psyllium husk powder. And guys, you can't skip on this ingredient. This is what's going to really bring this dough together. So psyllium husks will vary in color. The Now Foods brand, this is the one we like to use. This doesn't add that purple tinge that some might, but the color doesn't really matter. The taste is really gonna just still be there no matter what psyllium husk powder you use. Then we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of coconut oil and then a little bit of baking powder. And for the liquid component, it's gonna be 1.5 cups of hot water. Hot water is essential because that's what's gonna activate the psyllium husk powder, and it'll also melt the coconut oil. And now all that's left to do is get in there with your hands and knead this up. And if you find that it's too thin, you can always just add some psyllium husk powder and that'll really soak up that extra water. We're gonna keep this naan pretty simple, but if you wanted to add some fresh garlic, some just any flavor, some minced onion, that could be really, really good too. And the key to using psyllium husk powder is to allow it to sit for a couple minutes, and that's what really thickens up the dough. So this looks a little bit loose, but I promise you it will thicken up. All right, so the dough has been resting for about 3 to 5 minutes, and you can see it came together very nicely. And if it didn't, or you can't pull it apart and it stays together like that, just add a little more psyllium husk powder. That'll do the trick. So we have a large skillet heating to medium-low heat, and we're just gonna make these naans, and you can make them as thick or as thin as you want. Feel free to add some cooking spray or some, coconut oil, avocado oil to the skillet if you want to. And since we're using psyllium husk powder, I should note that it makes the dough very doughy. So when you're cooking, this is not a quick process like maybe a tortilla would be. This will take a little bit longer to cook all the way through. So we're gonna be patient with it. So let's head over to the skillet and pop these on. So I already have one naan going. Let's add our second one. So it's been about 5 minutes, so we're gonna check on this first one that we popped in the skillet and flip it. So yeah, you can see that it's brown on the bottom. Perfect. All right guys, we're back and the steak is marinated. So we're gonna pop it out and we're just gonna pat it dry a little bit before we sear it. So we have a large skillet heating to medium-high heat. We're gonna bring it over. And since we marinated it in avocado oil, we're not gonna add any oil to the pan. We're just gonna pop these on and sear them. So we're gonna sear these for about 2 to 3 minutes each side. And since they're pretty thin, that's all we really need to do and they will be cooked through. However, if you have a thicker cut of flank steak, you can pop it in the oven at 400 degrees for 5 to 10 minutes until it's cooked through to your desired doneness. So I already gave these a flip and they're looking really good. They'll sear up really, really quickly. So another couple minutes and then we'll pop them off and let them rest before we slice into them to make our keto gyros. All right, so the steaks are nice and seared, so I'm gonna pull them off. Beautiful. And we are just gonna let these rest for about 5 to 10 minutes. You want those juices to really settle in there. All right, so the steak has rested and everything is on the table. Let's make these keto gyros. So we're gonna just do very thin slices. That's how I like it. You can go as thick as you want. That's perfectly cooked. And this is fun because you can make like a little keto gyro bar for the family and they can get in on this action and make their own. So all that's left to do is make one of these keto gyros, and let me show you what this naan is feeling like now. So it's very pliable, so you can fold it and it doesn't like break in half. That's what I love about this recipe. So let's put one together. We got our naan. I'm gonna add some meat here. Beautiful. And then as far as toppings go, we're gonna keep it pretty simple, but very traditional. So we got our feta cheese, some crumbled feta cheese here, put on top. And then we got some tzatziki sauce. So I don't normally eat this, but I've tried it and it is pretty delicious. It's usually just made from like a yogurt and a lot of different seasonings. So if you look at the ingredients, I was surprised. They don't use any bad oils. The only oil they use is a little bit of olive oil, so it's kind of perfect. And then the macros per 2 tablespoons is 1 carb, 1 protein, and 0 fat because they tend to use non-fat yogurt. And this kind of looks bland and boring, right? So we're gonna hit it with some freshness. We got some tomatoes and a little bit of lettuce. Beautiful, look at that. And this was a really quick recipe and a lot of different flavor profiles going on here. So I'm excited. Wow. I haven't had one of these, I'm 30 now? Wow, it's been 10 years.
I've had like 2 in my whole life.
I used to eat these in college a lot because they're very, very delicious. But this beats that because the ingredients are a lot better and healthier. You get the tender meat and all that flavor, like that marinade we did. And the tzatziki sauce is just on point. So guys, make this at home. Linked below is the blog post with the description on how to make everything, the macros, and all the ingredients you're gonna need for this keto gyro recipe. I hope you enjoyed it. And comment below, am I pronouncing it right? Because I probably am, right? Keto gyro. Anyway, make this recipe. Thanks for joining me.